Tell us a little bit about Friday Fun Night.
Friday Fun Night, it's crazy fun. 3-hour jump time. For $20, you get a whole 3-hour jump time, which is pretty awesome. We also play a lot of games. We have a sky sled competition usually during the night. We have a dodgeball tournament that comes out. We'll have different teams play against each other, and they'll play for prizes, give away sky gear and a lot of the Sky Zone gears, and sometimes it's concession items.
And who can attend Friday Fun Night?
All ages. So if you're not feeling the football game, it's getting too cold outside, Friday Fun Night is perfect.
How is the Westlake Sky Zone's Friday Fun Night different than any other Sky Zone?
For us, we kind of amp it up a little bit. We have that DJ that's in the park. We have a couple of people called the Jump Troop that kind of walk around. Just the energy in the park. Got the music playing. You got all these people jumping. Love the dodgeball tournament. That's what I enjoy, but I'm a nerd, so.
As you can see, Sky Zone is a great place, whether you're 3 or 30. These kids are doing backflips. I can't even do that.
So again, on behalf of Westlake City School District, the administration here at Westlake High School, and the athletic department, all our coaches and support personnel in our athletic department, we welcome you to tonight's awards night for our boys and girls golf, boys and girls cross country, and our volleyball programs. Before I get into a few remarks, we always start our evening off with a representative from the Westlake Demon Athletic Boosters. And tonight we are honored to have Ed Blair, who is our president, to come up and say a few words about the good things that are going on with WDAB. Mr. Blair. Now, getting into the fall season, I just wanted to mention that there's 9 sports that the SWC sponsors, and in 6 of the 9 sports, we placed in the top 3, including 3 champions. So congratulations to the fall sports teams, and we'll talk a little bit more about those. First of all, I want to congratulate all of our seniors. You have provided us with some great memories. We wish you good luck in your future endeavors, and we are always here to help you. So if we could give our seniors a big round of applause for all they've done. Just my message, just from an athletic director and from a former coach. Now is the time for not only our seniors, but also our underclassmen. Now is the time to think about how you're going to take that next step. And for a lot of you, that next step is going to be different, but everybody needs to take a next step. And you have to decide how you're going to go about that, and how hard are you going to work. Up here we have teams of varying degrees of how they did this year, and it's time to take that next step. I know in talking to Coach Romansky, he wanted to have some guys go run at the state championships. And so he's going to talk about how we're going to take that next step. And as I go through my evaluation meetings with our coaches, we're going to talk about how we take that next step, because we're not satisfied. We're not satisfied until we win state championships. And that's the motto that we're starting to have with our coaches. And some of you are farther away than that than others, but that's the way we want to do it. I know that there were some disappointing things that happened this season, but we still have to take that next step. So when it comes down to texting on your phone, or going to lift weights, or texting on your phone, or going to run, or texting on your phone, or going to do some putting, those sorts of things, think about that next step, all right? Think about that next step. And I look at these golfers over here, because I've had conversations with a bunch of them, and for those of you that don't know, I'm sure Coach Zepp will go into this, they're smiling, but they missed going to the state championships by 1 stroke. By 1 stroke. And they shot a great score on that course. That score that they shot last year would have probably won the tournament. And they missed it by 1 stroke, and I'm sure that burns, because I've talked to a bunch of those guys, and I know that burns them up. And I'm sure that they're going to work hard. So we would like you to think about that next step. What's next? I always end with a quote. Tonight's Vince Lombardi. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. That's what I think. If you work hard and you put all that energy into it, the harder it is for somebody to beat you. So just take those thoughts in as you go tonight. I'm first going to bring up our first coach of the night, and we're going to bring up an injured Coach Mennel from our volleyball program. So.
Hello, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your food. I'd first like to introduce my coaches. My first coach is my assistant and my sister, Coach Addie Emerine. Our JV coach is a new addition this year, Beth Caduti. She played at Cleveland State with me. It's a great addition. And then our freshman coach is Devin Skunta-Helmink, and this is her second season. I first would like to start and congratulate all the student athletes and coaches on their successful seasons this year. Everyone's definitely taking a step forward with making this a stronger athletic program at Westlake. This year was all about taking steps forward for us both individually and as teams. We set goals at the beginning of the season to compete with all the teams in our conference. And if you're not sure about the SWC conference in volleyball, there's very, very, very competitive teams. Most of our teams in our conference make it to regionals or district finals. So every night for us is very, very hard. We were able to compete with some very talented teams this year and had some very competitive matches that could have gone either way. A lot of 5-set matches. For many of you, that might not seem like a big accomplishment, but for these girls, it's a huge step forward in our program. I would like to congratulate the JV and freshman team this year. The freshman team went 16-6, and the JV team went 14-8, and I think that's one of the best records we've had since I've been here. With that being said, we are now on our way to becoming a very competitive team in the SWC, and these girls should be very proud of themselves. A couple of the honors, that I would like to go through. The first one is our Scholar Athlete. This goes to a senior who has a 4.439, and that is Paige Ward. Yeah. And then you can stay up here. Hold on, you get your pin too. Paige, I told her to stay up here because she was also honored in the All SWC Honorable Mention team. We're also able to honor another student athlete of ours on the Honorable Mention SWC team, and that is Lexi West. I want to take a second to say how much I appreciate the support that we've received from our parents and players this year. Mr. Tony Cipollone, Laura Jagels, Westlake Demons Athletic Boosters by donating a complete set of nets and poles and everything so that we can finally practice with 4 courts. The girls might not like that, but I appreciate it. Kathy McKenzie for helping get all the awards and certificates ready. Dominic and Coach Daniel for always helping us out this year. I really enjoyed this group of girls, and I'm excited to see what's going to come these next 4 years with the freshmen, and I'm very sad to see our seniors leave. Thank you.
So it's time to bring up Coach Hasselworth, or Coach H, with our girls cross country.
Thank you. The girls had a nice season this year, finished 8th in the SWC, 6th in the district, 2nd at Madison, and most importantly, thanks to Maya Bauer and Ellen Wagner, we won a cob of corn at Tiffin, so that was pretty impressive. In terms of individual awards, our Scholar Athlete has a GPA so high, I cannot count that high. Leah Franklin, come on up. Congratulations. Here you go. Congrats. In the SWC, there's honorable mention awards that are given as well to the first runners from the team that crossed the finish line at the SWC meet. And very proud of these 2 young ladies, Robin Hagman and Ellen Wagner, SWC honorable mention. Congratulations. Nice job. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
So this is a time where we would have Coach Edmonds from our girls golf program. I don't know what it is about our women coaches, but they're having a rough season here. But Coach Edmonds is very, very sick. She got hurt during the season in her job and broke some ribs. Now she's sick, and she re-broke her ribs because she was coughing so much. So you're going to get me to introduce her. She gave me some notes. She wanted to let everyone know that the girls had a great season this year. They finished third in the SWC with a 10-4 SWC record. They were 13-4 overall. So you can tell how strong our conference is in girls golf. They finished third at the SWC preview, third in the SWC tournament, and fifth in the sectional. So very close to a district berth once again. So I did want to mention and bring up our honorable mention, all SWC golfers. First is Bethany Hartman. Our second SWC honorable mention, Suzanne Button. Second team, all SWC, Elise Ilias. I'm going to have Elise stay up here for a second because Elise is also the scholar athlete for golf, and she has a 4.593 GPA. So congratulations. They're getting new medals for it, and then she'll have to sign it. And then last but not least, we have a first team all SWC performer, and that would be Emily Fankhauser. All right, that's yours. Congratulations. One more big round of applause for our girls golf program. Up next, and I gotta tell you that this is the best shirt I've seen in a long time. All right. This is Coach Romansky from the boys cross country team.
All right, the boys cross country team had a great season this year, probably the best season we've had in a really, really long time. We won our first invitational in the last 5 years. We were second in the conference, which is the first time we've done that since 2004. We had multiple all SWC runners this year, and we had 3 regional qualifiers. We've just missed our goal of going as a team for the first time since 1999 by 7 points, which in cross country, for those of you who don't know, is not a lot. So we've just missed it, but it keeps the goal alive for next year. Starting with our individual awards, the SWC Scholar Athlete goes to senior Jacob Kraft, who is earning his 4th letter and has a 4.7 GPA. We had 5 all-conference runners this year. Starting with honorable mention, we have junior Matt Olson. And sophomore Will Floyd. We had no one on second team, but we had 3 first team all-conference runners. To earn that, you have to finish in the top 8 at the SWC conference meet. So we had 3 guys placing 6th was Jacob Kraft. Placing 4th was Nick Irwin. And placing in third was junior Sebastian Francisconi. I'd like to take the time to thank Mr. Cipollone and the administration for the support this year, and for all the parents coming out. It's not easy to come to cross-country meets that are all over the place, and you have to run around and watch your kids, so we really appreciate your support. Thank you.
I'd like to bring up Coach Zepp for the boys golf team.
As Mr. Cipollone mentioned at the beginning of our awards presentation, kind of a bittersweet ending to an amazing golf season for the boys this past season. We won 3 invitational titles, and every tournament we were in, we finished third or higher. The boys have a few trophies to bring up to you, Mr. Cipollone, to add to our new trophy case. Bring them up, boys. The boys golf team won the SWC title for the 2nd consecutive year. They finished undefeated in every SWC event this year, finishing 9-0. For the 3rd time in a row, they made it to districts. And as Mr. Cipollone had mentioned, you know, we missed going to state by 1 stroke, which is you take the top 4 golfers, add all their scores together, and at the end of the day, to miss by 1 was bittersweet, but as we've talked about, it was quite an amazing season. For individual awards, we have quite a few. Our scholar athlete this year with a 4.49 GPA is Max Prexta. Max, congratulations. Honorable mention, all SWC, is Jeremy Blaga. Put these in order. Hold on, Jeremy, let me find yours. And just stay up here, Jeremy. Also honorable mention to all SWC is Ellis Langermeyer. Congratulations, Ellis. Second team all SWC is junior Wesley Neal. Congratulations, Wes. First team all SWC is Nick Wilson. First team all SWC, Jules Blakely. And finally, first team all SWC, Patrick Steffen. And I had the boys stay up here because these 6 were basically our starting lineup, so that kind of shows you what kind of season these boys had by making every single member of the team part of all SWC. So congratulations to these guys. They don't get a lot of attention, but they really had an amazing season here at Westlake. So congratulations. There you go.
Thanks, Coach Zepp. One more hand for the boys golf team, SWC champions. We want to welcome everybody to our 2nd of our 3 banquet nights. Tonight we have some great teams here. We have our girls soccer team. We have our boys soccer team. And we have our girls tennis team. And so you're going to find out, if you don't already know, that these are 3 of our most successful teams here. So I did want to welcome everybody here. Let's get on with our coaches here. First of all, we're going to bring up Coach Jones of the girls soccer program.
I'll start our presentation of awards with announcing our 2015 Senior All-SWC Scholastic Award winner with a overall grade point average of 4.466, Rebecca Essek. The team finished the season with a 10-5-4 record. We were runner-up in the SWC. The team advanced to the district finals again this season, making it 8 straight district finals in 12 of the past 14 years. My seniors would like to present Mr. Cipollone and Westlake High School with the 2015 District Runner-Up Trophy. Our team was named First Team All-Ohio Academic, First Team Adidas All-American, an award given to the top academic soccer teams in the country. This makes 13 of the past 14 years the program has been named to this team. We also had multiple players gain individual awards this season. Girls, come up and get your awards after I call out your names. These awards were given by the coaches of the SWC. Earning honorable mention, All SWC, sophomore Elise Emser and junior Katarina Jansen. Earning second team SWC, sophomore Peyton Rimko and sophomore Mary Mason. And first team All SWC, senior Rachel Rapaski and senior Maya Bauer. We have multiple players also named the All Greater Cleveland teams as well. Girls, please stand when your name is called. Earning honorable mention in the Greater Cleveland Coaches Association with sophomore Meredith Hansen, sophomore Peyton Rimko, and senior Madison Mansour. Earning second team Greater Cleveland, senior Rachel Rapaski. And earning first team All Greater Cleveland with senior Maya Bauer. These girls will receive their awards at a later date. And finally, these girls were named to the All-Ohio Scholastic team for their play on the field and their performance in the classroom. Girls, again, please stand when your name is called. Seniors Maya Bauer, Madison Mansour, Ellen Wagner, Nicole Davies, Michelle Apple, Grace Goldman, and Rebecca Essig.
So without further ado, I wanted to bring up Coach Huntley, but as I bring him up, I also want to present him with the 2015 Southwestern Conference Girls Tennis Coach of the Year Award. So Coach Huntley.
Thank you. What a season this has been. And with all the young players, it's going to be another interesting couple of years. I want to thank, first of all, my assistants, my JV coach, Nancy Kohler, and my varsity assistant, Samuel Javari. Without their help, the season gets a lot longer. They've helped make it very, very interesting and enjoyable for me. I also want to thank the administration, both at the high school and actually for the district. It's unusual for me as a coach of a tennis team to stand and talk with the superintendent of the district who's coming to watch your match. It's not a first, but it's very unusual, and I really appreciate the support that the administration has given us. The athletic department has been wonderful. Our season is very changeable. Kathy McKenzie has done a great job making sure we had transportation and site changes up to date as best as possible. So I really want to thank everybody for that. I definitely want to thank the parents for the support, especially Mrs. Peeler, who has stepped up to be our athletic booster representative. It's been a great help. And at this time, we want to introduce our SWC players. Okay, we'll start with the all-conference awards. So if you will come up and pick this up. Emma Peeler. Amy Gerari. Dina Ali. Leah Chobin. Mishnik. Sanaya Ramachandran. And Tricia King. Okay, besides winning the SWC and recognition for that, we also have a number of first team and second team. First team all conference first singles in SWC, Emma Peeler. Just stand. Second singles all conference SWC, Amy Javari. First team all conference SWC first doubles, Leah Chauvin and Ashley Mishnik. Second doubles all conference SWC, Tricia King and Sanaya Ramachandran. And then second team all conference, third singles, Dina Ali. In the conference tournament, the girls took 4 of the 5 places. There was no competition once we got into the final rounds, quite honestly. I'm kind of glad we went indoors, though, because it did improve our ability. That we like the indoor courts. They did a fantastic job. Also at this time, by vote of the SWC coaches, Emma Peeler was voted SWC Girls Tennis MVP for 2015. And our scholar athlete, Tricia King. And then finally, I want to congratulate Emma. Emma worked her way through the state tournaments and made it to the state finals in Cincinnati this year. It was good to have a representative at the site again. Quite honestly, I've been to a number of state finals in my career, but playing at the Linder Tennis Center in Cincinnati is a new venue for us and a new venue for Ohio High School Athletics. I guess it's going to be there a number of years. It was quite amazing. Emma got to play in the stadium court for her first match, and that in itself was an awe-inspiring situation for me, coaching there and to watching the players play there. Excellent tennis at the state this year. Hopefully Emma will get there again next year, right? Thank you.
So we're going to move on to our last coach of the evening. I always save him for last, not on purpose. No. I did want to bring up Coach Besu, and at this time I also want to present Coach Besu with the 2015 SWC Coach of the Year in Boys Soccer. So Coach Besu. And also right before the banquet started today, we also found out that Coach Besu has been named as the Greater Cleveland Coaches Association Division I Coach of the Year as well. So congratulations to him.
Thank you, guys. That's for you guys. I just want to take a second, congratulate the girls soccer team on great success this year. Also girls tennis. I want to introduce my coaches. Doug Coons, my assistant. Paul Apple, my assistant. Also our records, JV Green, please stand up with the records 7-2-2. Stand up, guys. JV 10-4-2. Stand up. Varsity with the record overall 13-2-3, Southwest Conference champions, undefeated. Our scholar athlete with a 4.78, Jack Bogart. Our Southwest Conference honorable mention, Logan Winery and Donovan with the ball. Second team, Corey Dubois, Patrick Smith, and Jason Rebels. First team all conference, Brian Garudo, Jack Bogart, and Devin Molaski. Let's go. Garudo, come shake hands here. We also have some honorable mention, Greater Cleveland, which you guys are gonna get this Sunday at the banquets. Please stand up. David Molaski, Brian Garudo, and Jason Rabel. Jason. Also, first team, all Greater Cleveland, Jack Bogart. And also, you've been just named today, All Ohio. All academic team with the 4.11, first team All Ohio academically. All Ohio individual academically, Jason Rebels, Brian Garudo, Dante Della Vella, and Jack Bogart. Thank you.
Obviously, as you heard, Kathy McKenzie, my secretary, she works with the coaches hand in hand to make sure we get the awards ordered and as many as we can get spelled right and those sorts of things. I also wanted to thank my assistant athletic director, Mrs. Jagels. She's back there. She does a great job of setting up the banquets, making sure we have the right utensils and those things. So I want to thank her. Mr. Freeman is back there, our principal here at Westlake High School. I wanted to thank him. Mrs. Elias, Mr. Lauver, Mr. Palmer, and the school board. They make what I do, they make it easy for me, and I like working for those guys because they appreciate what you student athletes do. So give them a round of applause as well. I also wanted to thank our athletic trainer, Dominic Ramacone. He came on with us this year after we switched from Cleveland Clinic to UH. Done a great job just working with our kids and just becoming ingrained, traveling to away games and things like that, and just looking forward to seeing what happens here in the future, working with him as well. I also wanted to thank Karen Freeman, Mr. and Mrs. Allen, Mr. Rebels, Mr. Bogart, Mrs. Apple, taking pictures of the games, keeping score, doing the announcing. Couldn't do it without those people, so give them a round of applause as well. And then I wanted to take one more minute here to thank this coaching staff. I truly believe that we have one of the best coaching staffs in all of Northeast Ohio across the board. We don't always, I'm sure, agree with all their decisions, but I think they have the right things at heart. They want your kids to be productive citizens and productive student athletes, and I think we do a pretty good job of doing that. So give our coaches a round of applause. Again, one more thank you to all the parents. I know you guys work your tails off all day at your jobs, and then you come and you're setting up banners and you're working in the concession stand, and believe me, that stuff doesn't go unappreciated and unnoticed, and we couldn't do it. We couldn't have a successful athletic program like we do here at Westlake without your help, so we want to thank you as well. Student athletes, give your parents a round of applause. Have a great rest of the evening. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you next year. Other things that are going on in the athletic department before we get into our awards. Finally, our trophy cases outside of our gymnasium will be completed hopefully before the first home basketball game, boys basketball game. And we're excited about that, finally, to get those things done. So we're excited about that, yeah. I recently met with one of our older alums here, and he is excited about getting a little bit more involved in some things that we do here, and that includes trying to start to develop record boards. And we have some that we saved from the old school, but they're all different sizes and types and things like that. So we are going to start to work with our alumni to hopefully we can get a group of alums to support a sport board, including football, and start to collect some records. I've already started to collect some records, and I'll get to some that were set this year here in a little bit. January 22nd is the date of the spaghetti dinner, so if anybody wants to write that down or put it in their phone, it's January 22nd. It's a Friday night, and we will be playing North Olmsted that evening. And I'm excited because we haven't had a Hall of Fame class here since 2007, which is kind of ridiculous. And I'm glad that we are finally going to get a Hall of Fame class in here. So I know that we have a bunch of alums that are excited about that. The other thing that I'm excited about that we've been able to do here is this year we started what we term our Westlake Student Athletic Leadership Council. And what that is a group of student athletes, 2 representatives at least from every sport we have. And we get together maybe once a month and we talk about current issues and things that are affecting our student athletes, sometimes things that we don't even know about. This group is also going to be responsible for looking at our athletic code of conduct and making some recommendations to myself and Mr. Freeman that we will make to the superintendent and ultimately to the board to change or amend some of our policies. Some of the topics that we're talking about, drug testing, social media, the use of social media and when things happen on social media, and transgendered student athletes, something that's been in the news lately. So that group has some very good ideas. They all have some homework that they're doing with me. The good thing was about a month ago, we took 27 of these student athletes down to Ohio State to the OHSA Leadership Conference. This is a conference of 1,500 student athletes. It's the largest conference of its kind in the nation. We had 27 student athletes there, which made us the 2nd most represented school in the state of Ohio, and they had a great time and learned a lot. So we are excited about them. We had a great fall season. 6 of the 10 sports that the SWC supports finished in the top 3 in the conference, including 3 championship teams, our boys soccer, our boys golf, and our girls tennis teams. So we had a great fall season. So we're going to get on here with our awards, but before we do that, just a couple of other things. First of all, for myself, I wanted to thank our senior class. I'm sure that you would rather end on a championship note, but that last game that we played, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool, and that tells me that there was no quit in these guys. So seniors, we want to congratulate you on your contributions, not only to this football team, but to this school. The school spirit that we saw this year was the best school spirit that I've seen since I've been here in 6 years, and I think that is a tribute to these seniors and the friendships that they have created throughout all classes. So seniors, we want to wish you good luck. I know a lot of you are multi-sport athletes, so we'll see you in the winter and the spring, but let's give our seniors a round of applause. So I usually put my coach hat on because this is the only time I get to do it during the banquets anymore, but for the underclassmen. And this is the same thing I just told the cheerleaders. It's the same thing I told the other 2 banquets that we had. What's the next step? And how are you going to get there? That's what you got to look at. It's time to take the next step, whatever that is for your program or for you individually. How do you get there? I can tell you one thing, and I've had this conversation with my 8th grade son and my 5th grade son. You don't get there by twiddling around on your phone and texting people. You don't get there by laying on the couch and playing Xbox. You get there by figuring out what it is you want to do and how you're going to get there. And that's if you got to work out more, if you got to go for a run, if you got to watch more film. You all have access to Huddle. Thanks to our booster club. Go watch film, go run, go lift, go play another sport. Get yourself better as an athlete so we can be better as a football team. And I'm sure that Coach Hall has a couple of those things that he'll talk to you about, but that's, how hard are you going to work? Everybody wants to be good. It's about how hard you work. It's about how hard you work from now until the start of the next school year. And I know that there's some guys in here that are going to work very hard, and I'm anxious to see what we can do. Set goals for yourself. Make sure your goals are measurable. Get better every day. That's not really a goal. How do you know you got better every day? Set something that you can measure. I want to run a 4.5 40. You can time yourself in a 40. So set goals that are measurable and attainable. If you never played a varsity snap saying I want to be a 2,000-yard rusher next year, might be not attainable. Might be. But let's set goals that are measurable and attainable. And I always like to end on a quote. Vince Lombardi, one of the greatest football coaches ever, said, "The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender." And so I wish you guys good luck in your off season, and hopefully we will improve upon that end of the year game and just roll into the next season with that. A couple of other things. I always say this is any mistakes that we made on spelling of certificates, or if you think you should have got a letter and didn't get one, or you should have got a bar and didn't get one, just come down to the office and see us. We give out over 300 awards during this fall season. Inevitably, we make a few mistakes. I'd like to thank our athletic sponsors, our dinner sponsors. I'd like to thank all the parents and the football backers, Gina Redinger and her group of 9,000 helpers. The tailgates before the home games, whatever part you played. I'd like to thank you on behalf of the athletic department. It just made our atmosphere at our games so great. Kathy McKenzie, my secretary, she does a great job of getting everything ready, all these awards and everything. My assistant, Laura Jagels, she helps run the football games on home nights, as well as getting things ready for the banquet. Our athletic trainer, we had a transition athletic trainer, Dom Ramacone, came over from University Hospitals and did a great job with our student athletes. We plan on utilizing him even more this year with his expertise in strength and conditioning. You guys don't understand, players, what it means to play for a supportive administration and what it means for coaches and AD to work for a supportive administration. So I'd be remiss if I didn't thank our administration, which are all here this evening. Mr. Freeman, our principal, Mr. Laver, our assistant principal, and Mrs. Elias, our other assistant principal. Give them a round of applause. Just so you know, Mr. Laver almost got thrown out of the Midview game. I'm just saying. Our game workers, our announcer, Scott Wiley, did a great job in his first year. We had great help up in the booth with him, with Mr. Planasek and Sean Freeman, Dwayne Miller, and Dave Rushaw. Our chain crew led by Coach Daniels. Our JV chain crew, which included most of you out there sitting. I really thank you for coming down and volunteering on that. Again, all the parents that helped with the tailgate and with the booster club shack and all that stuff, it just wouldn't be the same without you. One thing that we do ask student athletes, there is a survey that's found online. It's under our forms page on our website. If you want to print that off and fill it out, it's totally anonymous, and it gives you an opportunity to voice your opinion, good or bad. We use it. I don't read them one at a time. I read them all when they all come in, probably 2 weeks from now, and we try to use those to make ourselves better. So if you want to fill that out, that'd be great. That'd be great. Before I bring up our coaches, I did want to announce that there were some school records that were broken in this season. First of all, Extra points made in a season. New record, 33 by TJ Withers. We tied a school record with the longest scoring play. The longest scoring play in school history was 93 yards. As many of you remember, Ken Axel had a 93-yard run in our playoff game that we hosted here in 2012, and this year Jaquan Hardy tied that mark, so congratulations. And as I said, since we found the records, this one probably should have been announced last year, but Jaquan Hardy also holds the school record for touchdowns in a game with 7 he had against Rocky River last season. So congratulations to him for last season. And then finally, the yards rushing in a season, 1,777 yards. Jaquan Hardy set the new record. So congratulations. Before I bring up the coaches, sorry, didn't have that on my agenda, my bad. I wanted to bring up Gina Redinger, just a couple of thoughts about our backers, and then we're gonna get into our awards. Sorry.
That's okay. Hi, everybody. Yeah, we do want to talk a little bit about the backers. It was really our first inaugural year for the organized version of the Westlake football backers, formerly known as the D-Moms. But we included a lot of new dads this year, which was fantastic. So we wanted to share a recap of some of the cool things and the great things that the backers did this year for the first time. It was a year of a lot of new firsts, and you may have seen or participated in bits and pieces of it, but it's important to see the great effort that's being put forth by the football community and how we're growing the program around the program. So this year was a lot of firsts. As I said, but you may not know exactly what we do or who we are. Technical difficulties. It's just a PowerPoint. But I'll go ahead while she's fixing that, just to tell you a little bit of who we are and what we do. We are just volunteers devoted to supporting Westlake Demon football, grades 7 through 12. We're raising funds, like Renee Beaver said, in conjunction with the boosters, and we're raising funds also as an independent football-specific group. We're establishing and maintaining meaningful new traditions related to football, and we're connecting the football program and team to the greater Westlake community. And we're promoting community, team, and school spirit in order to unite all three of those things. We're trying to implement initiatives to support a winning football program in Westlake and creating a legacy of Demon pride for alumni to come back. There it is. So that includes coaches, parents, grandparents, alumni, and community members, or whoever wants to support the football team on and off the field. One of the big firsts that we did this year was a new website, and I know most of you probably visited that website. It gave us a place to connect as a community, a place to find information, and a place to brand and market Demon football to corporate sponsors. It was completely built and maintained by our own Wendy Robinson, so woohoo to Wendy Robinson. It's an awesome beginning. More plans are underway to add alumni, football records, et cetera, some of the things that Tony just shared. And we hope that many of you found it helpful to find information that you needed, and we're always open to your ideas and suggestions of how to build out that website to make it better and more inclusive. One of the other firsts this year was a lift-a-thon, which Coach Hall brought to Westlake from that other school. We bumbled our way through the first one, but it turned out to be a very successful event with many people in attendance. And it's definitely something that we'll be continuing in the fall, or in the future. It really was just turned out to be a showcase for the players who loved it. They had a blast, and it was a showcase for them to show what they've been working on all winter in the weight room with strength, agility, and speed. And so we hope to build upon that in the future and grow that new tradition in Westlake, the Lift-a-thon. That also did help fund team gear, team camp, and it also helped raise enough money for a new one-man sled for the program. The next initiative was the continuation with gusto for the stadium improvements. That was a passion of mine 3 years ago when I took pictures of our stadium and I wasn't sure where I was because there wasn't a W or a Demon in sight. And so we took that on a couple of years ago and really in the last 2 years tried to improve the stadium to the best of our ability with the available resources. So this year, as you can see here, we did hang the new banners at the back of the press box, which can be enjoyed by both our softball and baseball teams. And then a late addition was the completion of the Demon Pride patio over by the tennis courts, which we didn't utilize this year, but can definitely utilize next year for any ideas that you have. Many of you here painted, stenciled, picked up bricks, threw out trash, and helped clean up our stadium. We now have a stadium that I think most of us are really proud of, and our kids are very proud of, that they can see their school spirit, they can see their school colors, they can see their school mascot. So we did a lot of painting, as I said. We had alumni come in and paint, which was awesome. We extended the Path of Pride and added the W's, which were personalized for each senior. That is something that can be changed each year for each senior class, and extended that Path of Pride on out to the entrance of the stadium. The new 3D W on the concession wall has turned into the backdrop for hundreds of photos that kids are taking. We didn't expect that to happen. Very, very cool. The other addition to the stadium was Demon Hill. That was something that we kind of stole from another school, that idea, a couple of other schools actually. We were lucky we had a hill to use, and we did use it. So with the donation of the Beaver family with materials and labor, they came up and provided these awesome letters that we can put on the hill. The players actually created a new tradition. The seniors, after the first team dinner, came and helped us put the letters on the field, and it was kind of like arranging furniture. It was really kind of comical. But so that'll be something that the seniors will do every fall, is put the letters back on Demon Hill. Another first was the family cookout. Many of you, it seems like forever ago, but that's a new tradition, again, Coach Hall brought to Westlake. And we loved it, we meaning the moms, because the dads ran the whole thing. And that was a really great way to get the dads involved from the get-go. Quentin Robinson headed that up, and we thank you, Quentin, for getting the dads involved and running with that. And it turned out to be just an awesome day. It was held after the first two-a-day practice, and really helped to get the season off to a really fun start, and get that feeling of community and camaraderie and family going at the start of the season. The kickoff event was not a new thing, but we did grow it again. It's the third annual kickoff event. We sold out at 580 tickets. We had to stop selling tickets. Yes, it was hot. Yes, it was crowded. And yes, we'll be making changes in the future. But we got through it, and we raised about $16,000, which helped us provide and purchase a new 5-man sled and other new tackling equipment for the program, and it also allowed us to do some fun things for the players, including a couple pizza nights for Bernison boys, the high school boys, and pumpkin carving at the end. So Friday night, those are some of our sponsors, and we greatly appreciate them for the kickoff, including, most importantly, the sponsors from our football family. Andy Redinger from Key Markets, Key Bank, Bill Blood from North Coast John Implant Center, the Belozer family from Woodman Agitator, and I think Pat Catanza's up there Pat Catanza's up there, Catanza Rights. So the other thing that we tried to improve also was our Friday night spirit, working hard to improve the team spirit and the school spirit, and Melissa Grimes headed that up, and we appreciate all of her hard work to really take that to the next level with our Demon flags, our Spirit Rock, our tailgates was part of that, which I'll talk about in a second, our Demon Hill, and our new alma mater scroll. Freshmen, Meredith Lavecchia, Rose Geen, Lisa Gregory, stand up. Sophomores, Renee Beaver, Melissa Grimes. Juniors, Christy Beach, Wendy Robinson, Kim Knoll, Dee Crawford, Bernadette Kranz, Lori Jolliffe, Tracy Stanzerite. And our seniors, Renee Beaver, Melissa Grimes, Jen Russo, Kim Fisher, Laura Dessler, and Lorianne Godfrey. I don't know if Dominic is here, but I thank you ladies for all of your hard work. We do have a gift for Dominic. Is Dom here? Okay, well, we appreciate our new trainer and our student trainer, Haley Null. Is Haley here? There you go. Thanks, honey. And then finally, we already gave the coaches there, we put a little memento there for you coaches in front of you, personalized memento from the backers. We appreciate all the time that you spend away from your families and your spouses, spending time with our sons and developing them as players and young men. And Coach Hall, would you come up here for a second? We have something more for you. So it was a year of many firsts for the backers, but it was your first year as head coach for Westlake football. So we had all of our team members sign the team picture and had it framed for you as your first year at Westlake.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Again, thank you to Gina for everything that she's done this year. We look forward to just getting better and better at some of those things and improving and making it bigger and just a great atmosphere. So let's bring up Coach Hall. He's going to have some introductions and give out some awards.
Thank you. I do have a few thank yous. I know Tony said a lot of them, so I'll go through them quickly, but I do want to thank the administrative team. They come to a lot of our games. Obviously, they're at the banquets, they're at everything. I really do appreciate them coming tonight. One name that wasn't mentioned was Kathy McKenzie, our athletic secretary, who does a lot for all the coaches, really played a huge part in all of organizing my part of the banquet with the awards and the certificates. So I know she's not here, but if you see Kathy, she does a lot for us, and I just want to thank her. I also would like to thank all of our students that participate in the band and in cheerleading. They obviously play a huge part in Friday night, and we all know that they practice just as much as us. If our guys know as we're coming onto the field, our band is practicing, and most of the time the cheerleaders are practicing in the building. So they put a lot of time in, and obviously they do a great job in their performances. Our Westlake Booster, I want to thank them for all that they do for us, and obviously our football backers. Gina was just up here. I can remember the first meeting, and that meeting went long as I was going through a list with her of all the stuff that's going on, and we were talking, and we really did strike a great relationship. I know sometimes I can always tell when she doesn't agree with what I'm saying, but she still just goes with the flow, and I do appreciate that. It's not always, there's a million ways to skin a cat, but I have a vision that I'm going to stick with, and I do have some give and take, but I appreciate that sometimes when I put my foot down like on what I want to do, she just, like with the pumpkin, she just lets me go with it. So I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate all the parents that come and come to the meetings. That's a lot of time. I do appreciate it a lot. I want to thank the coaching staff, putting in a lot of time, and their families aren't all here tonight, but it is, I don't think everybody understands that we're here most of the day on Saturday and most of the day on Sunday. And it is time away from their parents and their own children, and I do appreciate them, so make sure you tell your wives I did say thank you. And my own wife and my children, my wife Katie in the back, and my girls, Emma and Julia, who, as the boys know, they're there every day at 2-a-days doing water, and I do appreciate everything they do for not only being supportive, but for the program. Thank you. Obviously, I want to thank our players, starting with the seniors. Anytime there's a new coach, fortunately and unfortunately, I've done this several times. And it's the hardest on the seniors. It's going into their senior year. There's change, and I do want to appreciate because those guys really came and grinded all year, and it showed. I felt like we got better, and I think the true proof in that was how we finished our last game. We fought to the end, and we finally took that step, and we won that close game, and that's something that those guys Just watching their expressions after the game, that's something they're going to remember. And I say it to them all the time. In life, you're going to go through situations. You're going to have money troubles at some point. You might lose a job. You might be arguing with your wife. You can't just run. You know, and hopefully we play a little role with the parents in helping them achieve some of those characteristics that they'll carry on the rest of their life. To some of our younger players, I want to get this so I don't hold you up at the end. I've been holding meetings with all our younger players, almost all of them. A couple of them still have to sign up. And some of them probably have come home and have told you about the expectations and goals in the weight room and their weight, whether it's to gain weight or lose weight. But I do believe in having high expectations in that weight room. It's going to start after our fall break, Thanksgiving break, whatever you want to call it. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be lifting after school with all male athletes. Tuesday morning will be at 6:30. And I saw some heads just pop up. If it's important, you'll be there. It's about if it's important. And I already prepped Tony. We're going to be pushing cars and doing some different stuff. The training that I did in college, and you're going to do it at the college level. So get ready. You either do it or you don't. And if you don't, you can't play. And that's just me. That's the tough love part of it. So that's a message to you guys. And that's what I've been telling these guys in their meetings. High expectations. Okay? The next thing was summer. It was new for me with all the vacations. Besides being the dog capital of the world, Westlake is also the vacation capital of the world. And so I felt like it'd be a great time to kind of talk about my expectations. I know I like to go on vacation with my family too. I expect everybody to do that. But after July 4th is when I'm going to tell the guys, like, you can't miss camp days. We're going to camp just like we did last year, right when school ends. And I'm going to save them all for after that July 4th week. Because that seems to be like the let's go to Hawaii or something. So I want to make sure everybody's on the same page. I'm not going to go on vacation when we get back from the 4th. I'm asking you not to. I know that's hard. If there's a circumstance that you can't avoid, just I think some of the parents have realized, just come to me. You don't have to write me a letter, anonymous letter. You don't have to do any of that. All you got to do is come talk to me. I have a family and kids too, so I'm very, I know there's some circumstances you cannot avoid, whether it's meeting up with all the families and siblings in your own family and getting them together. So I felt like it's a good chance for me to tell you some of those summer expectations. Use that month of June to try and plan your vacations, please. It benefits your sons. Because we had a lot of young men that missed a lot of football, and I think it set them back. And it wouldn't, if I didn't tell you that, then I would regret it down the road if we met about it. Okay, with that being said, let's really, the format's going to be a little different than I think you might be used to, but for me, it's really senior heavy. The seniors are going to have a chance to come up here and talk, but it'll go pretty quick and smooth. And again, if I don't get a chance, I really do appreciate everything our parents do. With that being said, we're going to start off with Coach Bongers and Coach Madden. They're going to come up, and they're going to talk about our freshmen and our JV football team. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. As Coach said, I'm Coach Bongers. I've been coaching football in the district for 10 or 12 years. I teach over at the intermediate school, and this was just a great opportunity for me to be up here at the high school with these guys and coach these guys and coach with these other coaches here. I do want to start off with a few thank yous. Thank you to the parents and families who did all the things you did to get your kids there on Saturday morning, helping out on the chain gang, helping out with food after games and on Wednesdays, and any help that you gave up in the press box. As far as the JV season goes, from a one-loss record, overall we were 2-9, but that doesn't reflect the hard work and the talent and the overall improvement of all of our athletes. In fact, after giving up 41 points in the first half of the first game, I think improvement was the word that was the word of the season. Ultimately, by the end of the season, we scored over 36 points in 3 of our final 4 games, and these guys became confident and competitors throughout the season. The young freshmen and sophomores players, each week they played against teams that were 1 and 2 years older than they were. They competed and got better and more confident each week. I admire and respect all the young men who came out every day to practice, battled our juniors and seniors to make themselves better themselves and better teammates. I challenge all the athletes who participated on the JV team to put forth the time and the effort and work in this offseason to earn your playing time and success on Friday nights next year. I'll start off with the freshman group of certificate award winners. Okay. First, we have Michael Augustine. If you guys could come across the front here, so we don't trip over the cords and see Coach Hall here. Next is J.J. Coleman. Okay. Next, Coach. Asher Rome. He looks good. All right. Matt Hardy. Jacob Jablonski. Ryan Cordes. Okay. Right. Rocco Valpone.
Make sure you come back up and stand here.
Yeah. Okay. Next is Pat LaVecchia. And Kevin Walls. Okay. I've been fortunate to coach these guys for the last 2 years in the middle school, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do as sophomores and on Friday nights in the next coming years. So congratulations to the freshmen. Okay. All right. The next group will be the sophomore JV certificate winners. First sophomore is Gianni Dellavella. Yep. Second player is Hunter Grimes. All right. Varno Harris. Mo Jabara. Nick Katsaris.
How was that driving class?
Tony Kettle. Hadi Ramahi. Michael Reese. Josiah Smith. And Wes Sovakul. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the sophomore JV certificate winners. Did we miss one? Did we miss one? Is there some?
We got a varsity ladder.
Okay, all right. Hamed Suleiman. Okay. All right. And finally, Amin Zayed. Mamba. Yes, okay. All right, congratulations to the Junior Award winners. All right, thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to call up next Coach Gorius and Coach Beach, and they will pass out the first-year letter award winners.
Is Gorius announcing all the names? We're going to take turns. Do you want to go up front? That's all right. You're going to call them? Or you got them off this?
Oh, I got it right here.
Okay.
Okay. It's my pleasure to announce the first-year varsity letter winners. Matt Beaver. Eric Bechtel. Yeah, there's 24 of them. Billy Blood. Jackson Gregory. Terrence Rose. Told me he looks like salt and pepper. Ryan Sandor. Connor Sterniker. Dean Schneider. Leo Anastastopoulos. Matt Ramick. flowing, man. It's flowing.
Nick Kranz. Tarek Kwam. Big John Hayes. Bobby Fogel. Chris Choi. Dante Catanzarite. Trevor Belozer. Trey Bylois. Zach Busser. Alex Dvorak. Evo.
Hey, he said he led it last year. We'll get the plaque. Yeah, we'll get you. I'll call you.
Amir Abed.
You want me to say something or no? I'm gonna call him back. All right.
Jack Redinger. Cameron Thies. Finally, Andrew Floyd. Once again, these are all your first year varsity letter winners. Up next is Coach Patrizzi and Coach Banez discussing or telling you the second year letter winners.
Thank you, Coach Gores. My name is Jim Patrizzi. I was the defensive backs coach this year. Myself with Coach Banez, who is our offensive line coach, will be presenting the second year varsity letter winners. First person we'd like to recognize is Trey Bylois, who's actually a second year letter winner.
Come on up, Trey.
Kadar Robinson. Tariq Beach. TJ Withers. William Riley. Congratulations, TJ. Sal Russo. Stephen Hayes. Tristan Grimes. He's coming off an illness. He's got a... Justin Godfrey. Logan Fisher. Brody Evans. Carl Dessler. Mike Beaver. And Andres Belotis.
Am I supposed to do third year letter?
No. Ladies and gentlemen, our second year varsity letter winners.
Okay, I'm Chris Milano, who's the quarterbacks coach and offense coordinator this year, and Coach Tom Scheiben, who's our running backs coach, will be helping me hand out our third year letter winners. So Jaquan Hardy, could you please come up here?
Take your time.
Good job. Yep. Jaquan is actually our only third year letter winner, so another big round of applause for him.
At this time, once Quan works his way back to his seat, this is when we're going to pull up our seniors. Just so you know, this is where it's going to get a little different. Our seniors, we'll call them up. When they come up, their parents are going to come up with them. We've helped them out a little bit with a little sheet to kind of let them say a few words, introduce their parents. We'll go through our seniors, and then we'll finish with the specialty awards. So, Amir Abed will be first.
First off, my parents didn't make it tonight because of work. Thank them. Without them, I wouldn't be here. Also, I'd like to thank all my coaches, especially Coach Beach and Coach Chu, because they helped me a lot throughout the year. And I'd like to thank my teammates for the contact y'all created this year. And I'd like to give a special shout out to one individual who's not here tonight, that's Malcolm Atala. Thank you, everybody.
Tell her we're skipping this one. Hey, he's not here. Not here. He's not here.
Andres Belotis. Michael Beaver.
Hi everybody, I'm Mike Beaver and I'd like to introduce my dad, Eric Beaver, and my mom, Renee Beaver, training member for the board. I'd like to thank them and all the hundreds of other people, mechanics, backers, coaches. Special thanks to my position coaches. I've had Shivan and I've had Daniel, Ramirez all through my high school career. And who else? I mean, if I wanted to talk about my favorite memory, I feel like the Virginia Park this year would probably be the best of them all. And I'd like to make a special shout out to Malcolm for giving me.
Zach Busser.
My name is Zach Busser. This is my dad, Paul Busser. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. Big shout out to my teammates, Greg Egan, and shout out to Madison College.
Carl Dessler.
Hi, my name is Carl Dessler. This is my mom, Laura Dessler, stepdad, Pat Gallagher. I would like to thank all the coaches that we had this year, Coach Benavides, Coach Hall, everybody built this out. All the moms did everything for us to help us out, and Dollar Trainer. One memorable moment this year is everything at team camp. That we get.
Alex Dvorak. Brody Evans.
Hi, I'm Brody Evans. This is my dad, Brad. My mom, unfortunately, couldn't make it tonight, but I want to say thank you to my teammates, my coaches, and everybody that I've created a relationship with here this year that I may have not had one with in the past, and it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Andrew Floyd.
No. Oh, did I skip him? Oh, I'll go back. I must have crossed him out.
Hi, I'm Andrew Floyd. This is my mom, Linda, and my dad, Mark. I'd like to thank all my teammates, coaches, and anybody else who's had a positive impact on me throughout my high school career and my football career. I'd also like to give a shout out to Alexander Tallis for being here tonight. Thank you.
Logan Fisher.
Logan Fisher, my dad, Sean, and my mom, Kim. I want to say thanks to my coaches, especially Coach Banya, who helped me out a lot this year, and all the senior players that we've grown together throughout the past 4 years. And shout out to Mal for 2 years.
We're putting a time limit on this. Justin Godfrey.
I'll try not to. This is my mom, Gloria, and my brother, Sean Paul. My dad is in Boston working right now, so we're good to be here. I want to thank all my teammates. I had the best season of my life this year. It was amazing. I want to thank all the coaches coming in, making a great experience my senior year. My future plans, I plan on playing college football. Not sure when yet, but I think it's between Mount Union and Nashville, so who do I like more, Glorious Hall or Shiner? So,
One team wins a lot more games.
I want to thank the Demon Moms as well, and all of my fellow captains who had a great season. Really quickly, I don't know if you guys have heard me on the sidelines sounding the horn, but I want to sound it one more time. Thank you.
Tristan Grimes.
Hi, I'm Tristan Grimes. This is my mom, Melissa, my dad, Chris. I'd like to say thank you to my parents and everything they do for me, and the coaches, and all my teammates, and the bond that we made for this season. One of my favorite memories of this season is me and TJ are actually running back to the locker room, and the entering demon sign. He goes up to jump and tap it, slips and falls straight, and just, oh my god, it was the funniest thing. No one else saw it, but I did. So, there you go, TJ. And I want to shout out to the kid that wore number 12 this year, Malik.
Jaquan Hardy.
My name is Jaquan, and these are my parents, Mila and Pete. And I just want to give a great shout out and thanks to all my teammates and all the people who supported us.
I think some of us will let you know that happens when you're 42. Your moms are still doing those things. Stephen Hayes. Might be the first time all year he's spoken in public.
Hello. This is Kim, my mom, and Tom, my dad.
Jack Redinger.
Hi, I'm Jack. This is my mom, Gina, and my dad, Andy. I want to thank all my coaches, especially my position coach, Mike Peñas. He taught me that mind is truly over matter, pushing me harder than I really think like any other coach could. So I want to thank you for that, teaching me multiple life lessons. I also want to thank my mom just because of all the hard work she put in during the season, and also putting up with me and all my crap when I came home after practice. So yeah, thanks.
Jack, you pulled a Justin, you were taking the mic. Will Riley.
Hi, I'm Will. These are my parents, Annette and Steven. And I would really like to thank them for always being behind me no matter what sport I decide to play. It tends to change every year. So, overall, just thank you to everyone. Thank you to the coaches, teams, but most of all, my parents.
Sal Russo.
Hi, these are my parents, Mike and Jack. I just want to say I had the best time of my life when I was with these guys.
Never said.
There's no other group of guys that has go out every single Friday night with the battle. Honestly, like you guys, like me, like you all have a special place in my heart. Seniors, all of you are freshmen. I love you guys to death. I want to say shout out to my boy Mel.
Cam Thies.
Hi, my name is Derwin Thies, and my mom, Patricia, my dad, Eric. And I want to say thank you to all that supported me this season, and thank you.
TJ Withers.
Hi, my name is TJ Withers. I'm here with my parents, Lori and Tom. I first want to say thank you to my mom for all the Western Boosters stuff she did. She put in a lot of work, and also thank you to my dad for shacking field goals, 94 games. I get to say thank you to the coaches, and the teammates, especially the seniors. I'll share memories with you guys my whole life. Thank you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of that, I just want to say Jaquan Hart is the best player in the Southwestern Conference.
Special awards are interesting. You got to understand, and I have this conversation sometimes with my wife about awards. I'm not a big fan of individual awards. I believe the best award you can get is a team award, something you accomplish together as a group. So, I mean, when you get in a meeting, you start talking about kids, and I can't, unless they say their number or something, it just doesn't make sense to me. There's nothing better than what you can do together. There's nothing, the best memory I'm going to have right now, and I talk about all the time, is how we fought that last game and won. That's the best thing we did. You know, so that's better than any individual award we're going to pass out tonight. And that's just my personal. Obviously, Quan will come up here and tell you a lot of people blocked for him tonight, this whole year. And so it's never just one person. I think we need to understand that. With that, I'll be calling up coaches that will give a description of the awards and then give it to the recipient. Coach Gorias will be doing the first award.
I obviously didn't get the memo, and I want to introduce Coach Beach, wide receivers coach. When I did my first year letter winner awards, I'm Coach Gorias. I coordinated the defense and coached the safeties, and Coach Beach was a wide receivers coach. Tonight, I have, to introduce the Offensive Challenge Team Player of the Year. And here's a brief description. Okay, the Offensive Challenge Team Player of the Year is a person who was able to challenge the defensive unit by simulating our opponent and forcing the defense to focus in on their keys and reads to make the plays needed during the game. Being a challenge team player is a difficult task because on the one hand, you have to focus in on the opponent's offensive schemes and reads, which at times may be different from our own, while at the same time continuing to practice our own offensive concepts and techniques. This individual was able to differentiate between the two, and in the end provided our defense with the best look possible, as well as made themselves better as a football player. A few of my comments on this individual. This player was able to line up right, read the card. A lot of people can do that. But what made this player a little bit different was that once the ball was in your hands, yes, you look at the card, yes, you run the play, but once you have the ball, the objective is to beat the defense. And when this player got the ball more times during the week, sometimes made the defense look silly. Whether it's pursuit, whether it's wrong gap, this kid took advantage of it, and being a challenge team player is an opportunity for you as a player to showcase yourself and at the same time point out the flaws in the scheme, the flaws in the discipline, the lack thereof discipline. And this player did a great job doing that. This player has a bright future for the Demons, and that person is J.J. Coleman. Come on up. JJ, congratulations, man. Good job.
Just go ahead.
Good job, JJ. All right, I get the opportunity to give out the Defensive Challenge Team Player of the Year. And like the Offensive Award, the Defensive Challenge Team Player of the Year is a person who was able to give our offense a realistic look as possible by challenging them to make the proper reads and use the proper techniques to ensure success during the games. At times, our opponent's defenses schemes were different than our own, and this individual was able to exhibit these concepts during our group and team periods to emulate how our opponents were going to react to our offensive formations and plays. In the end, this individual not only made the offensive unit better for their work ethic and attitude, but made themselves a better football player. And a couple of things actually about both of these awards, and if you're not totally familiar what a challenge team is, they have to line up, like Coach Gorias said, and pretty much read a card and give us, whether it's the offense or defense, the best look possible. More times than not, that's filled with freshmen and sophomores going against the varsity team of juniors and seniors. So if we're speaking for JJ, it's a freshman trying to run the ball against seniors. For this individual, it's not easy to play an opponent's defense, and especially it's not easy to play an opponent's defense when we ask you to be their best player, because obviously for us to be successful offensively, we got to make sure he's accounted for. So we got to block him. So it's kind of unfair for this kid, because when he made a play, I would start losing it, blow the whistle, and say, do it again. And we would keep doing that play again until he was hit. You know, if you think about it, that speaks almost more to a person's character than it does their ability to play football. I have no doubt, though, just by watching him on JV, that his hard work and his effort as a challenge team defensive player turned himself into a great JV linebacker, and I have no doubt in my mind that he's going to be a great varsity football player for us next year. So our defensive challenge team player of the year goes to Matt Beaver.
You want me to stay up here and hand it out? I'm just going to have you do it. You read that. You got it. I'll get it to him.
I'm going to be handing out the Coaches Award tonight. The Coaches Award goes to an individual that shows the dedication and hard work that it takes to become a member of the Westlake football program. This individual embodies characteristics that we are hoping that all of our players will look up to, especially our younger players. I can remember from the first time I walked in, the first workout, and actually watching him walk around the room and hearing the story about some of the surgeries he's had to go through. And then just watching him every day just get stronger and stronger, and even talking with his dad, kind of wondering how long we were going to hold him back until we let him actually try and play after 2 ACL surgeries. And then to be able, by the end of the season, when we needed him to play both ways for us on the offense and defensive line. In fact, in one of the last practices, I was proving a point to one of our other players, and I yelled his name, and I said, "How much do you weigh?" And he yelled out his weight, and I looked at the player I was talking to, and I said, "You see, it's about this." And he looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" He thought I was making fun of him, but honestly, I was actually talking him up, because heart is where it's at. It's the one thing you can't measure. And I saw it from day one, and that's Mike Beaver. Who's doing this next? Beach.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the most improved player. So I don't need to read what that really means. But what's interesting about the most improved player for this team, it's kind of, analogous to our whole team, especially coming up this next year. This is a talented player. I'm talking about Terrence Rhodes. Everybody would agree that he's very talented. But talent on the football field doesn't get it done all the time. It takes commitment, it takes discipline, it takes preparation at any level, it doesn't matter. So what's interesting about Terrence, and I'll give you, I got to get on you a little bit, then I'm going to give you some love, Terrence, and we'll talk about the haircut in a minute. Terrence didn't play football last year, okay? He didn't play football last year, so when he got back into it, looking great in the preseason when it's not live, okay? But football has a way of really showing, putting the spotlight on those who are committed, those who are disciplined, and those that are ready to compete. That's the lights that's shining on you during a football game. That's what makes it great. But you know what? That's what can kind of make it hard for you, too. So we did a scrimmage against Bedford, pretty good team this summer. First pass play, I believe, that we threw. We got Terrence killing people during the preseason in non-tackle drills. Now it's time where they're shooting live bullets. Terrence runs a hitch route, ball gets to him, hits his hands, tips through, the guy intercepts it. Everything you don't want to have happen as a receiver. So he wasn't ready really for the moment. And I don't say that because we all need to go through those kind of situations in life. Coach talks about parallels to life all the time. But then how do you respond to that? So as the time went on, Terrence at different times during the early part of the season would disappear. His talent was always there, no different. But as he started watching guys like, I'll put Jaquan on the spot, when he saw guys like Jaquan lead without talking, based on his commitment, you saw that start to rub off on Terrence. So then, what's interesting, as we got through the season, And as I talk with him as his receiver coach and just trying to encourage him, telling him I think he's the best, one of the best receivers in this conference, whether he had stats to show it or not. So as we continue to go through, you saw his commitment level go higher and higher in terms of his preparation, and he took the coaching. There were some hard Saturdays. He had to watch some stuff on film that, he wasn't finishing out certain plays. You're only as good as the plays that you give up on. And Terrence saw some situations that I'm sure he didn't like to see. But as the season went on, you saw less and less of that. And what's neat is how the season wrapped up. Coach mentioned the Berea game. Terrence, as you know, had a pretty good game. He has three touchdowns. I don't know all the stats, but the point is, most every one of his, I didn't see very many plays at all that he gave up. And actually, I was trying to get him off the field because I was doing some of the rotations, and he wouldn't come off. Earlier in the season, if I said, Terrence, why don't you come off, he'd be quick to come off. So, Terrence, I couldn't be more proud of you, but here's what happens now. You get a award like this, you get a mention like this, spotlight's on you. We know you're talented. Now we know you're committed, and we expect big things from you. These other guys you'll be playing with are going to be looking to you and some of the other guys that are committed, they've shown commitment, like how a lot of us looked at Jaquan through the course of the season. So, Terrence, come on up here. He's the most improved player.
That's a tough one to follow. I'm just going to read a little note here. My name is Mike Banyas. I coach the offensive line. The first award I'm giving out is called the Rising Star Award. The Rising Star Award goes to the freshman or sophomore player who showed the coaches during the season that they have the potential and ability to become a contributing member of the Westlake football program for years to come. Through their hard work and efforts, this person developed as a player that was able to fulfill a role with their team when their team needed them the most. As we enter this offseason, this person is one that our program can look to in developing the foundations necessary in developing a championship program. This young man, I think I talked to him in week 2 or week 3. I told him if he keeps doing what he's doing, he'll be a varsity player starting for us next year. And by the end of this season, he was starting for us by week 8. So he took what I said, he really practiced hard, went through what we needed him to do, and by the end of the year, he was a starting varsity player on the offensive line as a freshman. That doesn't happen. And the best thing, linemen don't get awards, we don't get stats, but the best thing you say about an offensive lineman is you don't notice him. And when he played, you didn't notice him. He did everything we asked him to do, and he was great at it. And he was a freshman. He graded out 3rd highest on our team in blocking percentage. And I'll tell you what, man, the sky's the limit for him. Jackson Gregory, this year's Rising Star.
The next award is the Scholar Athlete. When I pulled everything together and started looking over the Scholar Athlete, I started looking at the whole body of work as I took a list of 4 or 5 guys, which I'm very impressed of all of our GPAs. But this guy always seemed to be, you looked out there and you always thought he was going to be outmatched. He was always the smallest guy, not always the fastest, but he always fought and fought and fought and fought. And then whenever it seemed like some people in life, they run from situations, like you're going to go compete against somebody and you find your way to get to the other side of the field, not with this young man. I think it shows with how his grades are too. And his GPA is a 3.825, and I get to be around him every day in class. He's just a great person to be around. Amir Abed. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to have our captains come up. So all of the captains, please walk up here. We have Andrew, Steven, Mike, Justin, Jaquan, and Logan. Let's give them a round of applause first. You know, these guys, you know, it was kind of a daunting task at times. We went through some rough parts of the season, and we kept challenging these guys to hold the ship, to keep battling. Whenever I would talk to them, like, we got to make sure that we're getting better every day, every week. And they'll tell you, there's times I would call them out individually, and some of them would nod their head, and we had those one-on-one meetings. But what I will say is, none of these men up here ever said the word no to me. I would challenge them with some things. Sometimes even Jaquan would give me that look at his when I would say something to him, but he always kept moving forward. And that's just a true testament to their parents. And there's a reason why they were picked by their peers and the coaches. And I just want to tell them thank you from myself and the staff. And truly, I can see all these young men being successful. Come get your pens. Thank you.
All right, the second award that I have to give out tonight is the Offensive Lineman of the Year Award. The Offensive Lineman of the Year Award goes to the linemen that showed throughout the year that they were able to make the right calls and put our offensive line in the right position to be successful by communicating the defensive fronts and any blitz adjustments. I will point out that a lot of people think playing the offensive line is just stand there and you block the guy across from you. Every play, it could be a different block, it could be a different step, it could be a different direction. And you may not even know what it is before you even go up there. So it takes a lot of intelligence and a lot of athletic ability to play the offensive line. Playing the offensive line is a very demanding position that requires the player to be both athletically capable to play the position, as well as possess the intellectual qualities to make the correct calls and adjustments when necessary. Throughout his preparation and play, this individual serves as a model for younger linemen to emulate as they move forward in their playing careers. This young man graded out the highest on our offensive line. He was in charge of making all the calls, pointing out the linebackers, doing all the little things that a lot of people don't notice. He started at 3 different positions, and at one point in the season played all 5 positions. Again, that's not easy to do. He was a very intense worker and a very intense practicer, even so much so we've actually had him dial back at times. Some of you might be knowing who I'm talking about right now. You know how intense he gets. But he was the leader of the group, both by his play and by what he said. One story real quick about Justin Godfrey is that the second week of the season, he was not happy with how he graded out. And him and Logan Fisher came to me and said, hey, can we sit down with you and see why we're getting the grades that we're getting? So I did. We took time out after practice. We sat down. We went through the whole film. And I told them, and Coach Milano and I were in the room, and we pointed out to them, this is what we expect. This is what you're not doing to get the grade that you want to get. He looked at me. He's like, Coach, I feel cheated. I said, I thought he was taking a shot at me. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I've never had anyone push me like this and tell me these things in the past. But he took what we said in that room, and he built on it. And he got better at it each week. So again, the offensive lineman of the year this year is Justin Godfrey. Congrats, buddy. Congrats, man.
Coach Ramirez.
Did you fall asleep or something?
No, just thank you. Thanks a lot. Hello, I'm Coach Ramirez, and I want to thank the parents for letting me coach your son this year. Coach Petruzzi wrote this description of the defensive lineman of the year. It's like Shakespeare. It's mosaic. I can't read this. I'm sorry, buddy. Our definition of a defensive lineman: he's the meanest, he's the toughest, he's the angriest, the nastiest player on the field. His job is to kick the crap out of the offensive lineman in front of him and then get to the football. How does he do that? He uses shock, stab, rip, club, push, pull. Guys, what does ABC mean? And he does this while he's being double teamed. That's a defensive lineman. And I want to call that defensive lineman up here, and I want to say a few words about him personally. John Hayes. Just wait a minute, turn around. No, wait, come here, come back here. Yeah, right here, don't move. I'm right here. All right, 2 words to describe John. Big country. Big. Big because he plays good. Now, it wasn't a great season every single game. John had a big challenge to make against Olmsted Falls. Probably the low point of his career. Yes. But after that game, he improved every single game. Against Berea Mid-Park, he had 12 tackles. That's unheard of for a nose tackle being double teamed. 6 solos, 4 assists, and 2 tackles for losses. But that's the most impressive thing, was he was beating the living daylights out of them big guys. And country. Country to me means soft-spoken, easygoing. John and Chris Choi used to help me train the JVs, correct? They used to help me coach them. When they were doing the scout team, they were helping me coach the JVs. So John's a team player, John's a leader, and John helps his teammates. Once again, John's a heck of a football player. John Big Country Hayes. Thank you very much.
Good evening, I'm Coach Scheiben. I coach the running backs this season. The Offensive Player of the Year award is given to the individual who exhibited excellent offensive ability and provided model leadership throughout the season. During practice sessions, game situations, this individual personified the offensive goals of Westlake football by providing the key block, the key run, key catch, or key throw that resulted in the big first down or touchdown for our team. This individual also served as a role model for future Westlake football players by making the big play when it was needed. This year's recipient accounted for over 2,000 yards this year and 23 touchdowns, which was a huge part of our offense. But his unbelievable offensive stats aren't the only reason that he's receiving this award. You rarely see a player with his combination of power, speed, elusiveness, vision, relentlessness, and heart. Whether he was running the ball, catching a pass, returning a kick, or even making blocks, he did his job for the team with 110% effort and determination. He provided for all of us countless electrifying runs where he would break several tackles before outracing defenders to the end zone. As his position coach, I am so glad
that he was able to stay healthy for an entire season so that everyone could see how truly talented he is. I've had the pleasure of coaching several outstanding football players in my 18 years of coaching, but I can tell you that, Quan, you are definitely the best. This year's Offensive Player of the Year award goes to Jaquan Hardy.
I will be giving out the Defensive Player of the Year. This individual, we can talk about stats, but this individual, he's an interesting guy. He's a guy of few words. But I don't know, I don't know if it's his wrestling background or if he's just, I know he's a tough kid, but it just always seems like every game he was fighting through something, making tackles. I could see him, there's times he was hurt, playing hurt. He's not a guy that runs into the training room, but it carries over because he's also a great wrestler. And there's times he's a little stubborn. I'm sure his mom will shake her head with that. But he's also, I want to tell you, I've been doing this a long time, and for a guy his size to make the tackles and be explosive and meet some of the guys like Quan running through the hole, it's very impressive. And our Defensive Player of the Year is Stephen Hayes. You want to give a speech? We got a couple left, and we'll be closing up here. Our team MVP, you know, Jaquan, go ahead and start walking up here as I'm talking about you. Come on, you can come back up. You know, Jaquan, obviously his offensive stats spoke for themselves, but more importantly, I think just the attitude and the mentality he brought every day. You know, he's and I've been doing this a long time, been around some great athletes. I can honestly, I cannot remember one time I saw him get frustrated and point a finger at a teammate or go on a me rant or anything like that. He was a very positive, he's motivated, and in fact, there was times I told him I think he should challenge some of his teammates even more. That would be a quest for him moving on. I mean, I truly believe in the bottom of my heart, Jaquan's going to play Division I football. I think everybody in this room thinks that and believes that. But the type of temperament and how he approaches his everyday with the weight room and in practice, I think that's going to lead him to a very, very bright future. So, again, I just want to congratulate you on obviously a great individual season, but obviously I want to congratulate you on being a great leader and the team MVP. Congratulations. You want to hand these out as a Okay, the last set of awards, they're all right here, that I'm going to pass out are the awards we got in the Southwestern Conference. And as I call these, we're going to call them all up together and give one round of applause when they get up here. Our first team selections by the coaches of the Southwestern Conference. Jaquan Hardy and Stephen Hayes. Come on up. We had one second team award winner, John Hayes. Our two honorable mention award winners, Terrence Rose, Tariq Beach. I'll get with him. And call him up one more time for his, our nomination for our scholar athlete, Amir Abed. Should probably ask Gina, did I forget anything before I close up? Are we good? Seniors, don't forget to get your pictures afterwards. One last thing, I want to message to the seniors and their underclassmen. First off, seniors, you're always a demon. Don't hesitate to ever come back. If you need help, don't ever hesitate to come back here and train. Don't ever hesitate to ever walk in this building and be a part of the football family at any time. You underclassmen, I think it's your opportunity to build off how we finished. And that offseason, I mean, guys have been working. That offseason starts after this 5-day break coming up. I'm really interested to see what those numbers are that first Tuesday morning when you have to get up a little earlier than you're used to, go to bed a little earlier, all right, and really come. I gave a couple guys a little taste of it today. They were crying, Q and those guys, they were crying a little bit today. But we're going to get after it. Right, Leo? Leo cried a little bit today, too. So, again, parents, thank you. I know, I swear it was going to be short until Tony got up here and spoke for 40 minutes. But thank you again. Appreciate it. All the support. It's awesome, awesome. Thank you.
The best birthday party ever is the one they want. The one their friends want to be invited to. The one at Sky Zone. Voted best place for birthday parties. And if you book your party before October 31st, all your guests get a free jump pass. No wonder more people are thinking, I'd rather be at Sky Zone. So jump on the phone or go online today.